As the Bears come out on the wrong end of a heartbreaker as the 49ers beat the Bears by a final of 42-38. What a game for a variety of different reasons. Hi, everyone. Zach Zaidman in for Mully. Olin Kreutz is off. Patrick Mannelly is with us. This is the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Arturo Tire. Pat, take a deep breath and give me your impressions right after that heartbreaker.
Yeah, it's a hard one, man. I was hoping to be celebrating a win working with you tonight, Zach. It's good to talk with you, but just no defense. You know, I mean, the game started out with a takeaway, which you love to see, which you have kind of grown to know what the Bears do, but then for the rest of the game, just zero defense at all. That was what was disappointing. You know, you watch the tape going into this game, and I had a feeling it was going to be a high-scoring game, looking at their defense compared to our offense, and you were hoping our defense would step up a little bit, knowing what's in front of them with the playoffs. And you saw what the 49ers did to the Colts the week before, and I was like, no, they'll step up and play a little bit better. But just a shootout, and I wanted to see more defense, but you got to give the Bears credit to get themselves in position to have a chance to win the game at the end of the game. I thought Caleb was going to do it. I think everybody thought Caleb was going to do it. I posted the meme, believe, the Ted Lasso meme, believe, and I thought it was going to happen. They put him in position to do it. But here's one thing. We're going to the playoffs. We are division champs. And if you want to take a positive out of this, and I will, it's a great learning experience for this young team. A lot of these games are going to come down to the last possession. They've won a lot. They've lost a couple now, or lost this one tonight. But they gave themselves a chance. And I'm a little disappointed they lost. But I need to see more from the defense. But I tell you what, Zach, we were entertained.
Yeah, no question about it. I think the thing that stands out to me, really from Thanksgiving on to right now, is that the Bears have found a way to play ball toe-to-toe with these playoff teams, whether it was Philadelphia where they bullied the Eagles, the two games against Green Bay, they were in them right till the end, went 1-1 in those games. And then what we saw tonight against a playoff team in San Francisco, on the road, the Bears went toe-to-toe with the 49ers. The thing that really hurts is that you had a chance to win it the way the Bears have won so many games this season, Pat, and now you're not going to be the number one seed. And I felt like there was a real opportunity to gain that top seed because San Francisco is going to play Seattle next week. And it's a different story if you have a bye and then play two games in January in the conditions that we've seen this winter at Soldier Field.
Yeah, no doubt about it. That is disappointing because that is a huge advantage, the way the playoffs are set now. And like you said, playing in Chicago, I've been lucky to play in a few of those in the Run to 06, and it doesn't matter who's coming in there. It does make a difference playing in Chicago in January. But at least we have one home game. Let's go. I'm going to spin a little positive here. I am disappointed. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm disappointed is the defense. I wanted to see more out of the defense, like I said there at the beginning. But it does stink they lost that because they do lose out on the first seed. But again, you get into the playoffs, you still have a chance, Zach. And this team right now, they're pretty good. I was happy to see what the offense did. You know, against a bad defense, Caleb went out and had a pretty darn good game. Just could not come through there at the end. But man, oh man, yeah, it is disappointing to not get the first seed.
312-644-6767 is the phone number. We'll be taking your phone calls throughout the evening here as we break down the heartbreaker in San Francisco as the 49ers beat the Bears by a final of 42-38, which means that the Bears will not be the top seed in the NFC, and now they need to beat Detroit next week or have the Eagles lose next week in order to be the number 2 seed entering the playoffs. But the thing that stands out to me, and you brought it up multiple times, the defense and the issues. It started out great, right? You get the pick six to start the game on the first snap. Beautiful play by Jalen Johnson, knocking the ball up in the air, and then TJ Edwards corrals it and waltzes in for a touchdown. The thing, though, that I still remain puzzled is you knew all week long that George Kittle wasn't going to be on the field, right? You found out fairly early on that the ankle was going to be a problem. And then early on in that game, the star left tackle for the Niners, Trent Williams, is out. and yet the Bears seemingly did not have an answer for the 49ers offense throughout the entire game.
They just still don't have a pass rush. Austin Booker got there once, batted a couple balls, but that was at the line of scrimmage. And you're right. When Trent Williams went out, I said, okay, I knew Brock Purdy could move. I didn't know he could move that well. I haven't seen a whole bunch of Brock Purdy, but what a game for he had, being able to move around the pocket and what he did early in the game as well. But I did. I thought those were huge advantages for this defense, and that's why I'm disappointed. You look at the numbers. They gave up on third downs in the first half. They let the 49ers convert 5 of 7, I think 7 of 10 total.
Yeah.
And then they were 5 for 5 in the red zone. They stopped the Packers, 0 for 5 last week, and they were 5 for 5 this week. So that's disappointing. You just can't have that. Those are losing numbers. But the offense came to play and put up 31 points. The defense put up 7. But those numbers are just very disappointing, Zach, for this defense, which, they talked about playing your best ball in December. Well, the offense is, but the defense is not. And that's what's concerning about the playoff run here. Your defense cannot show up like that and expect to win a playoff game.
Well, see, they've been living on the takeaway all season long, and this is what the critics always say, right? If they don't get the takeaways, then they look very ordinary out there. And, yeah, they got the takeaway early that led to a touchdown. Almost always when you do that, it leads to victory. But yet the 49ers, and this is where you give Purdy, Kyle Shanahan, Christian McCaffrey, that entire 49ers offense a great deal of credit because they went at the Bears. They didn't mess around. And at one point, they were going toe-to-toe like the Pro Bowl, right? There were 5 consecutive scoring drives combined between the teams. And you knew that if you were going to be limited to a field goal in this game at any point during one of these big drives, you were going to be in trouble. Late in the game, the Bears were limited to a field goal, and the 49ers struck back, got a touchdown. And, even with that, I thought if you were watching the game on TV, you heard Chris Collinsworth say, Pat, that the Bears were in the position that they're probably most comfortable in, trailing late in the game with an opportunity to win it. And you really felt as Caleb was scrambling around on that last play that something would materialize, right? And it just didn't. He spoiled us from that standpoint.
No doubt. And there is a belief. There is a total belief. And I think the guys believe it just didn't happen in the end there. But let me run through some numbers here which are disappointing for this defense because you're the 49ers. You don't have your all-pro tight end in George Kittle. You don't have your all-pro left tackle and Trent Williams, but the Bears still give up 496 yards total, 200 yards rushing, 5 for 5 in the red zone. That's unacceptable. You're missing basically 2 potential Hall of Famers on an offense, and you still give up those numbers. I know it's Kyle Shanahan, and you can talk about how good he is running an offense, but man for man, if you lose 2 guys like that, you should not allow that to happen. And that's what happened today. The defense played poorly, as well as they did last week in the red zone. They played that poorly this week, and that led to the loss. I think the offense did their job in what I thought they could do against Robert Saleh's defense. But again, the Bears defense and Dennis Allen just did not show up today.
And the Niners win it 42-38, so San Francisco improves to 12-4. They take on Seattle next week, and they're going to try to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. The Bears at 11-5 after this game. A valiant effort. The other thing that struck me watching just overall this game unfold, and Pat, you have great perspective when it comes to Bears history. No one has played more games in a Bears uniform than you. Can you recall shootouts?
No. No, very rarely. I think 2013 we had a pretty darn good offense, right? With Mark Trestman's first year, but games like that I don't. And to me, the NFL now is an offensive game, right? Just the way it is, protecting the quarterback, the rules, and all that kind of stuff. And it feels like the Bears have finally caught up to that. And we have a franchise quarterback. I do believe in that. I believe in Caleb Williams. And it is nice to see that they can stand up to other teams that have these offensive-minded head coaches and great offenses and do what they do. But it's encouraging, like I said when we started, but it's still disappointing to lose that. But I am encouraged with this offense and what they did today.
How can you not be? Caleb Williams going 25 of 42. He threw for 330 yards. That's a season high. 2 touchdown passes. And, late in the game, there were opportunities there where his rookie pass catchers, whether it was Colson Loveland, missed a very catchable ball, and Luther Burden III, who had a phenomenal game, his breakout game, 138 yards receiving on 8 receptions and a touchdown. And he dropped one that was a catchable ball. So, that's the stuff that kind of stays with you, because you knew it was a game that your offense was going to have to win, because it was evident after the pick six that the Bears defense didn't have whatever they needed to slow down what San Francisco was doing on the offensive side.
Yeah, but you talk about Loveland and Burden. I mean, they're the ones that got you there, right? Mm-hmm. They got to make those plays. And what I wrote down here is that it's a learning experience for this young team. They've come through in the end in some of these and a lot of these, but they didn't today. But that's a learning experience for them. I have a feeling they're going to be there again, and they're going to have their number called again, and they won't have the drops. I didn't realize that was Colson Loveland's first drop of the year, which is impressive. And Ryan Poles, give him credit, has hit on those two young men as well for this offense, and Caleb Williams and what he has going forward. So I understand they made those drops, and you're going to coach them hard about that, but it's a learning experience. But they wouldn't be in that position at the end of the game if it wasn't for them and their game they played today.
100%. But we are critical when it comes to that stuff, because you're approaching the playoffs now. And when you play playoff football, you have to make plays like that. For example, we can be critical of some of the layups underneath that Caleb Williams had in this ball game. And look, no one's going to be more critical of Caleb Williams than Caleb Williams when he watches that on tape, because he knows. I don't even think he has to see it on tape to know that there were a couple of misses there by him that shouldn't be misses by a quarterback of his talents.
Yeah, and I thought Chris Collinsworth did a great job of highlighting that and saying, hey, if you want to be great, don't miss the layups. You got to make these throws. And, I don't think any other games we watched on TV have highlighted it that way. But that kind of simplified what we're missing with Caleb, and I'm sure he knows what he's missing in his game. He makes those plays, the game might end up differently. And that's what the great ones do. They make those easy plays. They make those the throws at the right time, and he's not doing that. He's making the big throw at the end of the game, but some of those other throws, I want to see him complete those. And I thought Chris Collinsworth did a great job explaining that.
49ers beat the Bears 42-38. This is the football postgame show presented by TimberTech Decking and Railing and Atturo Tires. Zach Zaidman in for Mully. Patrick Mannelly is along. Olin Kreutz is off tonight. Let's go out to the phones. 312-644-6767 is the phone number. I know a lot of you want to react to what you saw tonight between the Bears and 49ers. Let's say hi to John in Dallas. John, you're on the score.
Hey, the only thing I'm disappointed tonight in how y'all doing is that when we reached the red zone, when we was down there with about 25 seconds, where are our red zone plays to the end zone? Not underneath. We didn't have enough time. And even when he threw to the number 4, that didn't get to the end zone. You got to have plays that in close to where you can have some plays in the end zone. So if you're going to go with 4 straight plays, hit the end zone. I'll hang up and hear what you got to say.
Thanks for the call, John. Look, they tried the hook and ladder play.
Yes.
And with Loveland and DeAndre Swift, and they got close, didn't get in. But they tried. That was the play. They understood the kind of defense that they were facing, and you needed a little trickery, and that's why Ben Johnson is considered one of the best offensive minds in the game. That was the play they tried. It didn't get them to where they needed to go.
Yeah, I've never faulted Ben Johnson and what he's done at the end of the games. You go back to the Green Bay game where Caleb threw the interception. People debated that. Should he have run for it, thrown it to DJ, thrown it to Cole, whatever. He's giving the team an opportunity to win the game. He got him down there again with his playing calling to win the game and gave them an opportunity. I want to go back and watch the hook and ladder because I don't know if Cole, because the timing and all that kind of stuff, Cole was in the end zone. I don't know if he would have been able to block somebody with the timing, with it not being pass interference, because he was, I don't know if he slipped. I would like to go back and see that if it was executed 100% right. But I can't fault Ben Johnson and what he's calling. He's given these guys opportunities to win the game. He gave Caleb opportunity to play after that to win the game. So I understand you want to try to get it in the end zone more, but you are putting your team in position to win, and they just didn't come through tonight.
Yeah, generally when you put 38 points on the board, you're expecting to walk off the field as the winner. And so, yes, we're very critical of the offense, but that's not the reason the Bears were in the L column after this game. It was because the defense could not stop anything that San Francisco was doing offensively, with the exception of the first snap when they got the pick six.
Yeah, it just really was disappointing, Zach, because that's not playoff football. That's not winning football in the playoffs. You can't do that. You can't win games like that. Obviously, you can't win during the regular season, but you wanted to see this defense take that step. You wanted to see them play a little bit better. You wanted to see them get after Brock Purdy. We talked about Trent Williams being out of the game, and I thought maybe either Austin Booker or you move Montez Sweat over there, going against a backup that have a chance to get after Brock Purdy, and they couldn't get to him except one time.
Hey, Pat, why can't the Bears generate the kind of pressure that you need to, and again, a lot of teams have had difficulty pressuring Brock Purdy, but considering some of the injuries that the 49ers were dealing with on the offensive side of the ball tonight, that was a little disappointing. Why do you think they're not able to generate the pressure that you need?
They just don't win their one-on-one matchups. I mean, Grady Jarrett was here to win one-on-one inside. He hasn't been able to do it. He's been banged up a little bit. Now he seems a little bit healthier. He has had some pressure the last couple weeks. I didn't see him much today. Austin Booker, they're just not elite pass rushers, and even Montez Sweat is not that as well. He's an all-around really good player, but in my opinion, I don't think he's getting paid too much to not get after the passer enough. He has his sacks. They're whatever, I forgot his number of sacks this year, but they're not enough to me. They're not winning the one-on-ones. They're not winning games. They're not getting the quarterback down in critical situations. But they're just not winning their one-on-ones, really, to answer your question.
312-644-6767. Out to the phones we go. Mike in Rockford, you're on the score. What's up, Mike?
Hey, good evening, guys. Listen, could your producer, I'm not anywhere I can listen to any rebuttal. Can you leave me on for like 1 minute so I can hear what you guys have to say so I don't get disconnected?
You got it. What's on your mind? Go ahead.
Okay, so here's what I want to say, guys. I really wanted the Bears to win, but at the same time, I know it sounds crazy, but I don't want to see the Packers. And the Bears have not played them good this year. And I was a little bit shocked at how good the Bears played the 49ers. I thought the Bears were going to go in this game and kind of lose big, and the Bears surprised me. So I was happy about how they did play a good game, not enough to win. But I don't want to see them. I don't want to see them face the Packers. I know if they get. Let me ask you guys if you know this, and it might be not until the next week to find out who's actually playing who. But if the Bears do fall to the third seed, if Philadelphia somehow wins next week against Washington and the Bears lose to Detroit, the Bears would then be the number 3 seed. Who would the Bears probably play? Would it be an NFC West team?
Well, at that point, I think you have to let everything play out next week. And I understand, and thank you very much for the call, Mike. I'm like this. Look, I'm afraid of Green Bay too.
Huh? You're not supposed to say that. You can't say that, Zach.
I'm being honest. But I think you have to
Even
remember.
with all their injuries?
Well, we don't. Are they going to be healthy by the time they fit? But I also think there's something to be said for slaying the demon, right? If you want to be the top dog, and you have to exercise this Packer demon that's dominated you. So from that standpoint, it's inevitable, right? Don't you? It's kind of inevitable. You think. Somehow you're going to have to beat the Packers. If you expect to get to the Super Bowl, you have to be able to beat a team like the Packers, period. They've already done it. Once you get into the playoffs, doesn't matter how you win, just find a way to win, just like you did last time. Simple as that.
Agreed. And I don't think if you look at the teams going into the playoffs besides the AFC South, they're all better than the Packers. I'd rather face the Packers or whoever wins, the AFC South. You're not going to face them in the first round, but I'd rather face the Packers. I'm afraid of the other teams, not the Packers. I'd rather see the Packers for the third time. I honestly would. I just think with their injuries and the Bears' run game, what they have up front, I'd rather face them.
Yeah, I'd like to face the Packers team that took on the Ravens yesterday.
Yes, exactly. Because they used a lot of the same run plays Olin was talking about in the pregame. They took a lot of, from what the Bears did to them up front, and they did it better with Derrick Henry. But I just think with the Bears' strength of the offensive line against that banged-up defensive line, that's a better matchup than some of these other teams.
Bears lose a heartbreaker in San Francisco tonight. 49ers knock off the Bears 42-38. The Bears no longer able to fight for that top seed in the NFC.